it's so easy to understand, for me at least, why insurance is the best industry, to sell in, life insurance specifically. And then it's like inside of that industry, family first life, that's pretty much a no-brainer. We're number one. It's not even close. I think our second competitor in the industry is 10 times smaller than us. So that's a huge difference. 10 times smaller than us. We obviously have the highest compensation. We've got access to the best carriers, all of our training. To have so many producers that do over $400,000 in a year is unheard of. To have any producers that do $1 million in a year is unheard of. And they all parked their license here. And they did it for a reason. All right, everybody, welcome. And be more excited for another round of our Back to Basics series. We come back to this series, every couple months, and I think it's important, especially coming out of convention, just talking about basics. Dave Anderson got up on stage and he talks about how he coaches professional athletes, college athletes, people who perform at the top tier. And just getting back to basics in general is the number one thing that he talks about. He talks about having his players, shooting hundreds, if not thousands of free throws a day. And, talking about practicing your script. Anybody who's been here for 2-3 years, practicing your script doesn't sound like something that you really want to do unless you're doing it with a new agent that's going to help, get started and earn an override. But these are the types of things that help us become masters in this business. If we want to become a master of this business, we have to become a master of the basics. Today, we're going to be talking more about just good practices of an insurance agent. And I think that is so important to understand some of these basics. So the first thing I think, before we get into some of the more practical application of things, for me, I think it's important to understand the basics of why so many of us have picked insurance over so many other industries out there. I think that's where I kind of want to start here today because, I've been involved in a handful of different industries. I've been involved in a lot of different businesses. I have friends who are involved in different industries. And, I love insurance for a handful of reasons. Number one, I've sold a lot of different things, and I've sold a lot of things that people didn't necessarily need. So it really did feel like selling. Something that was maybe a luxury item, something that was in the health and wellness space. Yeah, it's going to make you healthy, but do you really need this, $8 energy drink? I don't know. Like, it's debatable. But when you die, does your family need life insurance? The answer is a resounding yes. I've never once gone through an appointment and felt bad that I helped someone with life insurance. I never once was like, man, I really twisted Mary's arm to help her family. I never felt that way, but there was many times in my career selling all kinds of different things like, wow, they didn't really need that. But because of my skill set, I was able to create a value proposition that, made sense for them to buy. And maybe there's buyer's remorse, but I've never, ever once felt that way. And that's why we call this the most honorable profession on the planet. When somebody dies at the end of their life, you're the only person who's reaching back with a check. Everyone else says, gimme, you owe us this, you owe us that. But you're the one who's reaching back saying, hey, your loved one thought so much of you that they left you, $20,000, $500,000, $50,000, whatever that dollar amount is. Or, we were able to talk to someone about, hey, if you have a heart attack, you no longer have to worry about, making your mortgage payments. If you become disabled, you've got access to $250,000. And these are life-changing scenarios. Like, anybody on here who has actually dealt with a client passing away and has spoken to their beneficiary and were able to get that claim paid out. It's an amazing experience to go through that. It's sad. I mean, I had one the other day where literally the wife was on the phone with me, like crying, not sure if her policy was going to pay out. It had just reached the 2-year non-contestability period, which meant that pretty much anything goes. No matter how they died, it was going to pay out. And, the husband was out partying and, they don't know exactly what happened, but he didn't come home that night. And had it been inside of the 2 years, it might not have paid out because of the way that he passed away. But because it was outside of the 2 years, now they're about to deliver a death claim, and that's going to, change that family's life. So I love what we do. I love how fast we get paid. of course. You talk about real estate, you talk about solar, so many other industries out there. Where else can you get paid in 24 to 48 hours? Where can you be on the phone with somebody, help them with insurance, and then in 24 to 48 hours, have money deposited into your account? I remember when we moved to South Carolina, I mean, I was thinking about my real estate agents. I'm like, man, these guys must really be passionate about what they do because they've been talking to us for well over a year and a half. And finally, this deal closed, and finally, they're going to get paid. I've got friends in solar who they go out there and they knock on a door, and that thing takes 90 days to get funded and put through. And obviously, every company's different. I don't know. Some companies install faster. Some agents are able to push their people through the pipeline faster. But at the end of the day, unless we're going out and doing fully underwritten insurance, getting people to do medical exams, which most of us don't, unless it's a very unique scenario, people are getting paid within a week on policies that they write today. That's incredible. So I absolutely love our industry for the fact that we can get paid. The other thing is the low barrier to entry. Man, passing a real estate exam is not easy. I've heard that exam is pretty hard. Our exam, the life insurance exam, is a piece of cake. The hard part for us is the health insurance, which obviously a lot of us only, do the health insurance side so we can sell a couple of different life products and, have the ability to sell health insurance in the future. But that's the hardest part about what we do. Family First Life is a company, anybody in this organization, your class is free. Typically, it costs $200 to get your class done, but we're going to go ahead and pay for that for all of your agents that you go ahead and recruit. So all that they have to do is pay the state that they live in for an exam. And if they pass, pay for their license. And they have leads. And technically, you're not even required to buy leads. You can go out there and work friends and family, get referrals. We have leads available, which is amazing because there's other companies out there. They have no leads available. And they say, hey, make a list of your friends and family and then give them to me, your manager. I'll call up your friends and family. I'll sell them all insurance. You watch. I'll get paid. That's your training. And then when you get started, you go recruit a couple people to get lists of their friends and family. And then you'll sell them and you'll get paid on their friends and family. And then that's their training. And that's how people generate leads. Like that's actually what happens at other companies. So I love the fact that we can go to work. You can buy a list of leads, people raising their hand looking for insurance, and you can go out and you can learn a skill set and you can start getting paid without having to make a list of friends and family. But I also love that we have a product that's so worth believing in that it's also not that hard to talk to friends and family. When you actually, talk to somebody, that this is something that is worth making sure that they have set up properly. So it's so easy to understand, for me at least, why insurance is the best industry, to sell in. Life insurance specifically, and then it's like inside of that industry, Family First Life, that's pretty much a no-brainer. We're number one. It's not even close. I think our second competitor in the industry is 10 times smaller than us. So that's a huge difference. 10 times smaller than us. We obviously have the highest compensation. We've got access to the best carriers, all of our training. To have so many producers that do over $400,000 in a year is unheard of. To have any producers that do $1 million in a year is unheard of. And they all parked their license here. And they did it for a reason. So knowing that you guys are in the right place at the right time with the right people, of course, there's going to be things that you have to learn. Nothing's going to be perfect. It's not going to be an easy ride. But the best of the best in our industry have decided to plant their flag here. And that should give you belief that we really do have a great vehicle for you to get started in.